Why smart people sound dumb and how to fix it. Today, you're about to learn why some people who have so much technical knowledge, they're so good at their craft, why are they not taken seriously? Why do people not see them as an expert? Now, I'm sure you either know someone who's had this problem or you've had this problem yourself. So, here are three main reasons. I'm going to give you some examples of each and what you can do to fix it. The first one, and this is the number one question I get on all of my social media channels, which is vocabulary. But number one, I want to change what this means. I'm going to change this to contextual vocabulary. Contextual vocabulary is why you might not sound as smart as you are. So, what do I mean by contextual vocabulary? If you think about people who want to sound smart, the question they always ask me is, Yasser, how can I learn fancy words so that people think I'm intelligent? And if you just wake up and you read the dictionary every single day and you find 20, 30 new words and you just try to incorporate that into your speech just to sound like you're using words no one's ever heard of, people will just be confused and they will not see you as a smarter individual. In fact, every time they talk to you, they'll say, I have no idea what this person's talking about. So you're not going to sound intelligent. But contextual vocabulary is you have to know the vocabulary of your industry. You have to know the vocabulary of your industry. So let's say I am working with a marketing team that helps me run ads, helps me get my videos out there to more people and gets people on my live webinars. I will want them to know the meaning of words like conversion, show up rate, CPR, CTR, ad spend. These are terms that anyone who works in the industry, anyone who's really good, they know what these terms mean. So this is contextual to the industry. So if you imagine, if we're talking about ads and I'm talking about cost per conversion, and I say, so what was the CPC? And they say, oh, what's that? Or if I say, what was the show up rate? Oh, what does show up rate mean? If they say that, immediately I know. If you don't even know what show up rate is, if you don't know what conversion is, if you don't know what an email open rate is, then you probably don't know anything about marketing because you don't have that contextual vocabulary. Now notice the word itself is not complicated, but it is industry language that people would know. If you're getting technical, you could use words like LLMs. That's a technical term many people use. So if you don't know what that word means, people can immediately identify this person is not very intelligent, not from a broad scope of intelligence, but they don't know a lot about this topic. So you have to have contextual vocabulary. And the way you develop contextual vocabulary is not just to Google which words should I know, it's to listen to people talk about the subject that you talk about often. So if you talk about AI a lot, listen to people who talk about AI. What are some words they use? If you talk about marketing, listen to people who are good at marketing. What are the words they use? Read books about it. This way, you are knowledgeable and organically you will develop this vocabulary that you can then use. Now, I don't want to stop here because this is a more nuanced point. So you have contextual vocabulary, you know industry language, but never assume the other person is familiar with these terms, especially if you are not speaking internally to your team. So let's say when you're speaking to your team, you're talking about gross profit, you're talking about net profit, you're talking about ROAS, return on ad spend. You're using all of these terms that you are familiar with internally. But then you speak to a client who might not be familiar with these terms. So then when you start saying CPR, CPC, ROAS, they might not know what any of this means. And what will happen is, because you are assuming they have this knowledge, they will feel stupid. They will not feel like sharing the fact that they don't know these terms because people are embarrassed to say they don't know certain things. So they'll walk away from the meeting feeling confused because they won't ask you the meaning of these terms. And when you compile a lot of these terms in one conversation, two conversations, you will confuse the other person, you will make them feel dumber, and they will start to resent you. So you don't want this to happen. You don't want to assume the other person has knowledge. So one, contextual vocabulary. Know the industry vocabulary, but tailor that to who you're talking to, the person you are talking to. Do they know this vocabulary? Are they using that vocabulary? Are they people who are advanced enough who will understand this? Because when you can use certain words and people inherently know their meaning, you can communicate things much faster. You can use one word to describe a few sentences worth of things, but that's only if the other person understands the word. So use contextual vocabulary, and when other people use their vocabulary, you should be able to understand it. This means you have to continuously learn about your craft, get good at it. So instead of just opening a dictionary and learning every word you can, I don't think that's useful. Instead, what industry are you interested in? What are topics you talk to people about? Learn about how people describe things in that industry and then use that vocabulary. But don't use it to show off, use it to help someone understand. So that's the first reason why many smart people sound dumb, because people say certain terms and certain phrases and they don't know what it means, or they start complicating things and most people have no idea what they're saying. So number one, use contextual vocabulary. Number two, doing too much. Doing too much. This could be over-explaining. This could be rambling. This could be moving too much. This could be fidgeting too much. The sign of a rookie, the sign of someone who's not very experienced, at least in my experience, is someone who tries way too hard to convince you of something. If you go to a doctor and you ask them a simple question, hey, how do I do XYZ? They will be able to explain it to you in simple terms because they have done it time and time and time again. The more you do something, the easier it is for you to describe it. You can use metaphors, you can use analogies, you can use stories, you can describe, explain it step by step. You have all of these different ways to describe something, and you can boil it down to its simplest form. But when someone is a rookie, what they tend to do is they tend to look for the right words. They tend to speak more so they can eventually find how to describe something, how to explain something, because they simply have not done it before. Or they have not done it in a sufficient enough volume to be able to explain it in simple terms. And I'll give you a really easy, down-to-earth example. Ask the average person, so tell me about yourself, or tell me about your company. Walk me through your resume. Most people, they cannot answer this question, even though in just about every single interview, you know you will get asked this question. So if you just sat down one time, once in your life, and said, I am going to answer this question this way. I will talk about this, this, and this. You have practiced it enough times. When people ask you that question, you can say, hey, my name is Yasser Khan. I'm a CEO speech coach. I help CEOs and executives speak with confidence, clarity, and credibility. The way I've said it, you can tell I have said it many, many times before. But if I said, yeah, so, the thing that I do is when I'm working with, executives who have, let's say they have presentations or, like they're in boardrooms and they just want to sound confident, or they want to persuade people. Let's say they're doing a presentation and, they want to explain things and get people to really buy in. So I coach them and I show them the step-by-step way that, they can speak with better vocabulary, be more confident, and it helps them in their career. So a lot of people who, have that kind of struggle, we have coaching programs and many YouTube videos. Can you just see the difference? What am I doing here? I am over-explaining. I am rambling. I'm speaking until I find out what to say. And you can tell I have not spoken about this before. So most people, they can't explain why this is the case, but when you talk to someone and they ramble and they go on and on and on, you might not be able to tell why is it that this person just doesn't sound very intelligent. But what's happening internally is because they are over explaining something, you can detect that they are not confident in their ability to express themselves because they haven't done it enough. So when you over explain, what you're also doing is you are seeking validation. Is this a good answer? Let me continue talking. Hopefully this is better. Let me talk a little bit more, because if I talk more, if I give you more explanation, if I give you more information, you will think that I'm smart. Or maybe you didn't like what I just said. Let me say this other thing and say this other thing. Maybe now you like me. What am I doing? I'm fighting for validation. I'm fighting and fighting and fighting so that you approve of me. So I'm going to ramble and talk and ramble. All of this over explaining can be fixed by simply structuring how you speak. Structuring means use the fewest possible words to get the message across in the simplest possible terms. The fewest possible words to get the message across in the simplest possible form. So, if you are explaining something to someone, think about it like this. How do I reduce the amount of words so people have an easier time understanding? How do I not qualify myself by talking and talking and talking and make it easier for them to understand what I'm saying? The more you throw at them, the more they have to process it. So over explaining and doing too much, that's the second reason why smart people sound dumb. The first one was you have to use contextual vocabulary. And don't assume that everyone knows what you're talking about. Know the language of your industry and use it only to the people who prefer using it. For everyone else, simplify it. And number two, don't do too much. Don't over explain. Don't ramble for too long. Don't move too much. Don't fidget too much. Do less. Say more with less. Those are the first two. Now, number three, you will see this a lot, especially in roles where people are not used to being around people. And this is being passive. Being passive. What do I mean by being passive? It means waiting for someone else to take permission. So I'll give you an example. I was working with my marketing team. And oftentimes what happens is my marketing team will send me a report, and on the meeting with them, they'll say, hey, I'll share my screen. Here are the numbers. What do you think? And everyone, there's 4 people on the call, everyone's just completely quiet and no one says anything. So then I have to look at the numbers and say, why is this number this way and not that way? And then the entire team is completely quiet. And I have to ask, who is responsible for this? Who knows about this? Everyone's quiet. Michael, do you know about this? Angela, do you know about this? And now, because I call on them, then they respond. So the entire time, it feels like a defensive relationship where they're waiting for permission to talk. So if I join a call and everyone's just looking at me, waiting for me to lead the call, waiting for me to ask them questions, otherwise they will stay quiet, they don't sound intelligent. They sound passive, they sound timid, and they don't sound confident. If you are working with a client and you want them to feel like you have taken care of something for them, you helped them out, you need to lead the call. Hey, thank you so much for joining in. What I had in plan for you today was to do 1, 2, 3. Is that still our agenda? Is there anything else you'd like to discuss? No, that's it. Okay, perfect. Here's the report. What we notice is this number is this way because of that. That number is that way because of this. This number means that we need to focus more on our sales. This means our last marketing strategy didn't work. Is that the same thing you're seeing on your end? Yes, that's what I'm seeing on my end too. Okay, what I recommend we do is X, Y, Z. Can you see how it's so much more active as opposed to, hey, I'm here, thank you. So here's a report. What do you think? Or why are the sales lower? Oh, actually, it's because I think the marketing didn't work. I'll check on it. Can you just see the difference in how you're perceived, right? Confidence, when you have confidence when you speak, you have to communicate with confidence so the other person believes you. It is in your interest and the person you're speaking with, their interest, for you to speak with confidence. Because if you sound unsure of something, I'm not going to believe you and I will not follow your advice. So, for example, if you are my marketing consultant and you said, yeah, based on this report, I think we should double the amount we spend on marketing. Just with this passive, timid voice, I'll say, are you sure about that or is that a guess? Yeah, I think we should try it. You think we should try it, or are you confident that we should try it? I don't want to just double my budget and you're not sure of it. As opposed to, based on everything we're seeing, all indicators say we can double our budget and we should be able to double and triple our sales. I think we should do that. Can you just see the difference in passive waiting for communication? Oh, I don't want to say anything that's out of line. I want to walk around eggshells. When you speak like this, other people simply won't believe you, even if what you're saying is right. So you might be saying the right things, but if you're waiting for permission, if you're waiting for someone to ask you something, if you're waiting to voice yourself, people will not see you as the expert you are. So please, if you want to speak like a leader, you have to be the one to take control of the conversation. You have to be the one active in a conversation. When you join a meeting, for God's sake, don't stay quiet for 45 minutes and wait for someone to ask you a question, unless there are people in the meeting who said, hey, we're going to discuss this subject. If I need you for something, please jump in. Don't needlessly speak, obviously, but instead, if you are the one who is presenting, if you are the one leading the meeting, lead the meeting. Don't wait for permission. Be the one who speaks first. Be the one who speaks like you believe in what you are saying. So this is why a lot of smart people sound dumb. One, contextual vocabulary. They don't have it, they don't use it, or when they do use it, they use it with people who don't have knowledge of it. So use vocabulary according to the context you're in and who you're speaking to. Number two, don't over-explain, don't ramble, don't move too much and fidget too much. Speak in the fewest possible words in the simplest possible form. And lastly, don't be passive. Don't be timid. Life is too short to hide in the corner. Take initiative. Put yourself out there. Speak like you believe what you're saying, and other people will believe you as well. Hope this helped.